Okay guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you the method I use to breed the correct IV spread and perfect IVs for the Pokemon that I want in the easiest way that I found. Now you're going to need to watch this video first to understand everything that I'm saying, because I'm simply sharing the easiest method that I found to do this the fastest. And if you don't watch the video that I'm linking to now, you're not going to fully understand everything that I'm going to be talking about. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get two Pokemon that you know the full IV spread for. So in this case, I have a Zoroark who I know the IV spread for in all of its stats, and a Ditto that I know the IVs in all of its stats. And you're going to want to get two Pokemon whose stats do not overlap in any way. So for instance, my Ditto has a 31 stat in HP, and my Zoroark has a 28. And for defense, my Zoroark has a 25, and my Ditto again has a 31. So you're not going to want to have the same number at all in any stat of all six, because you're going to want to see exactly what stat is getting passed from what parent onto the egg, as well as the IV spread that it's getting and what stat is being randomly generated. So you're going to want to know the IV for every single stat of both Pokemon. And you're going to want to give one of these Pokemon a Destiny Knot, which will take 5 of their IVs out of all 12 and pass them down to the offspring. And what we're going to be doing today is figuring out exactly which IVs are passed down from what parent and which one is randomly generated. So you're going to go ahead and put both these Pokemon in the daycare, one of them holding a Destiny Knot. And the Ditto is obviously going to be acting as the opposite gender of whatever Pokemon you have in there. So since I have a male Zoroark, for this, the Ditto is going to be female. So you're going to go ahead and place the two Pokemon in the daycare, one of them holding a Destiny Knot, and then you're going to save. And then from there, you will simply go outside however you want, and you're going to generate the egg. So I'll go ahead and fast forward this part since it's just going to be me riding a bike back and forth. But you're just going to keep going until you get an egg. Okay guys, so here we go. Now the egg has been generated, and throughout all of this, you should never save once. After you put the two initial Pokemon in the daycare, that's the only time you should save, and the rest of this you shouldn't save at all. So now we're going to go ahead and get the egg from this guy. And I'll go ahead and fast forward this part again. And now all you're simply going to be doing is hatching it. And one of the easiest things you can do is get a Pokemon with the ability Flame Body, which will reduce the number of steps it takes to hatch a Pokemon egg in half. And then the second easiest thing you can do is use one of your O powers and use the hatching power. Any level that you have will make it easier to breed. So I have hatching power level 3, but 1 or 2 will do. And it will just save you time in hatching them. So I'll go ahead and fast forward this, and we're just going to hatch the egg. Just a little side note here, guys. If you ever see that the daycare man has another egg for you, you can grab it, but it's essentially pointless because after the first egg hatches and you check its IV spread, you're going to be resetting your game. So there's not really any point in grabbing the egg. So I just thought you guys should know that. Alright, so there you go guys. We have successfully generated the egg and hatched it. And now what you're going to be doing now is there's an IV calculator on Cetterby, and you're going to be putting all the information for this Pokemon and some additional information into it, and it will calculate the IVs for you. So you're going to want to know that it is lonely, natured, and its characteristic is takes plenty of siestas. So you're going to want to remember that. And then what we're going to be doing from here is you're going to want to fly to Anastar City, and you're going to be checking the hidden power that it has. And if you haven't already, this is also where you get the TM for hidden power from the same person. So go ahead and talk to this guy, and if you haven't got the TM for hidden power, he will give it to you, and then afterwards you can talk to him again, and he will tell you he can check the hidden power of your Pokemon. So go ahead and pick the Pokemon that you're breeding. In this case for me it's Zorua, and he'll tell me that the hidden power is water. So you're going to want to remember that, because that will be going into the IV calculator. Then from here you're going to fly to Keloud City, and you're going to be talking to the IV judge, and he will tell you if you have 31 in any stat or what stat you have them in, and he will tell you they're terrible if you have 0 in them. So you go ahead and go right inside the Pokemon Center and talk to this man with the purple hair, and go ahead and pick the Pokemon that you're breeding. And you're going to want to remember 3 things. The second sentence that he says, in this case, is relatively superior potential. Any stat that he says has great potential, in this case it would be HP and attack. You only need to remember 1. And the last sentence he says, where he says they simply can't be beat in this case. Now from here we have one last step, and you're going to want to fly to North Lumiose, and you're going to be heading to the Battle Institute. Now like I said earlier, the higher level the Pokemon is, the easier and more accurate the IV calculator is going to be. So in this case, our Pokemon is only level 1 since it has just been bred. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead, get on your bike, and go to the right after landing in North Lumiose. You want to pass this taxi, and you want to go to this first building on the left here, which is going to be the Battle Institute. And the great thing about this is that unlike the Battle Maison or anything else, it doesn't make you save before starting it. So you're not stuck back here. When you reset, you'll be exactly where you want to be. So you're going to want to bring the Pokemon you bred as well as 2 other Pokemon and participate in a single battle. And then you're going to want to choose your party Pokemon and choose 2 and the Pokemon that you're breeding to put in the tournament. Now at this point, you're going to choose Pokemon, choose the Pokemon that you're breeding, which is now at level 50, and you're going to hit Summary to go to its stats page. Now at this point, you're going to want to go to the website that I've put the link in the description for the IV calculator, and you're going to enter all the information that we've gathered from talking to the Hidden Power, the IV Judge, and going to the Battle Institute, as well as its nature and characteristic. So you're going to go ahead and go to that site and enter all the information. And so for me, in this case, would be a Zodora, lonely natured. Its characteristic takes plenty of siestas, and then its hidden power is water. Then for the IV Judge, it was relatively superior on potential, had a high HP and attack stat, and then it had a can't be beat on the very last sentence. And then the very last thing you're going to have to do is enter all its stats for level 50. Now at this point, all you have to do is hit calculate individual values, and it will give you the IV spread for the Pokemon that you've just bred. So now, as you can see, after you hit the calculate individual values button, it will give you the spread here, and it will also give you the spread here in case it's unsure because of the level of the exact number. And now this is essentially also the reason why you want to know the exact IVs of the two Pokemon that you're putting in. So knowing that my Ditto does not have a 31 IV in attack, but my Zoroark does, I know that the IV is 31. My Zoroark has a 25 in defense, so I know it's 25, and it's got a 28 in speed, so I know that last one is 28. Now neither my Ditto nor my Zoroark have a 5 in special defense. So that's how I know that this IV spread has the special defense stat randomized while passing down HP, attack, defense, and speed from the two Pokemon that I've put in. Now, for this spread, it has passed down 31 from Ditto, which is acting as a female, 31 from attack from my Zoroark, 25 in defense, 2 from special attack, and 28 in speed. And those next 4 stats, attack, defense, special attack, and speed, are all from Zoroark, who's acting as a male, and the special defense is randomized. So it leaves us a Zoroark with this IV spread right here. Now, if you're trying to get a Pokemon that has perfect 31 IVs in HP, attack, defense, special attack, and speed, and you do not worry about special defense, then this is the perfect IV spread for you. And you know exactly which stat comes from which parent, male or female. So at this point, we're going to pretend that this is the exact spread that we want, a spread that has randomized special defense. So at this point, you are going to soft reset your game by pressing LR and start at the same time. It's going to take you back to the main menu of the game. So go ahead and load. Now we're back. As long as you didn't save any point between putting the original two Pokemon in the daycare and all the way up until stat checking, you should be back at the point right when you put those first two Pokemon in the daycare. So now what you're going to want to do is, now that we know the IV spread from the egg that will generate and what stat gets passed down from which parent, now we simply take that information and put in two parents that we want to get a perfect egg from. So we'll go ahead and take those two Pokemon out and take the items off of them. So take back the Everstone that I put on Zoroark and the Destiny Knot from Ditto. Then I'll go ahead and put those two back in my PC. And we'll go ahead and say that we're going to breed a Swinub for this. Now, it passed down attack, defense, special attack, and speed from the male, and HP from the female, and a random special defense. So we can go ahead and take, for instance, this female that has HP, 31 in HP, and we'll go ahead and take her. And then we can take a male such as this one who has 31 in attack, defense, special attack, and speed, which all get passed down from the male. So by breeding these two, we will get attack, defense, special attack, and speed from the male, and the HP stat from the female, which is guaranteed. And you're going to want to have any egg moves that you want them to know, as well as the nature and ability that you want them to know already on them. So now that we've got the two Pokemon that we want to breed, we'll go ahead and put the items on them. So I will give the female Swinub an Everstone to pass down its naive nature, and the male Swinub the Destiny Knot to pass down the IVs, which is the most important. Then we'll go ahead and give them to the daycare lady. Now, just in case you did anything wrong, you are not going to want to save after you switch out the parents. You are going to want to just simply leave and generate the egg, hatch the egg, and then we will check the IVs from there. So we'll go ahead, I'll fast forward this, and we're going to generate an egg now for Swinub. Alright guys, here we go. Now we've got an egg for Swinub, so we'll simply take it. And then we're going to go ahead and hatch this one. So I'll go ahead and turn on my hatching power. Alright, now we'll just hatch this sucker. Okay guys, so now we've hatched our Swinub, who should have HP, attack, defense, special attack, and speed, all having 31 IVs in each one because the parents did, and we checked which parents passed down each one, and we chose our parents according to that. So now, to check its IVs, because it's got 31 in those specific stats, to check its IVs this time, we simply need to fly to Key Loud City and talk to the judge, because he will tell us if we've maxed out those specific stats like they should be. So we'll go ahead and go inside, talk to the judge, and we'll have him check our Swinub. Now it's got 31 in HP, attack, defense, special attack, and speed. Exactly what we were looking for and exactly what we were expecting having checked the IV spread and choosing your parents accordingly. So now at this point, if that IV spread was exactly what you were looking for, and you did everything correctly, and you now have a 5 perfect IV Pokemon, at this point you can save, do whatever you want, go back to the daycare and put the 2 Pokemon that you know the full IV spreads for, and start the process all over again for a different Pokemon, or maybe if you want more of the same Pokemon. So at this point you've succeeded, you've passed your IVs down. Now let's say that back when we checked the first Pokemon's IV spread, you did not want special defense to be randomized. We're going to go ahead and go through the process of what happens if once you check the IV spread for the first time, you do not like it. We're going to go ahead and go through that process now. So I'll go ahead and reset my game back to the point of checking the first egg. So this is after you've gone through the process of checking the first Pokemon's IV spread and found out that the special defense stat was randomized and you do not want that. What you're going to do is extremely simple. You're back to the point where you first put the original 2 in for the first time. You're going to go out, hop on your bike, and you're going to generate the egg that we checked the IV spread for. So I'll go ahead and fast forward that until we generate an egg right now. Okay guys, so at this point we have now generated the original egg that has a special defense as a randomized stat. So this is extremely simple to do if you do not want that as the IV spread that you're going for. You're simply going to talk to the daycare man and you're going to reject the egg and tell him that you don't want it. Now, at this point, if you reject the egg, you want to save now. Only at this point, if you reject an egg, do you want to save again. And what you're going to do now is you're simply going to start the process entirely over, and you're going to generate a new egg, hatch that egg, check the IV spread, and see what the IV spread is, what stat gets randomized, and what stats get passed down exactly from which parents. So I'll go ahead and go through that process sped up for you right here. Okay guys, so now this is it technically, now that we've rejected that first egg that we knew the IV spread of, this is now the second egg that we've generated. So you go ahead and talk to the daycare man, and this time you're going to accept the egg. This is the second egg that's going to be generated. And now you're going to just start the process over again, hatch this one, and then we'll go about checking its IV and its spread. Okay guys, so we've now rejected the first egg that had the randomized special defense stat, and we've now generated and hatched this second egg. We'll go ahead and check the summary of it. And it's again lowly nature, but this time the characteristic is capable of taking hits. So then now we're going to fly to Anastar City, and we're going to check the hidden power. So go ahead and talk to him. Check the hidden power of our Zodua. And this time it's going to turn out to be flying. Now again, we're going to fly from here. And we're going to go to Key Loud, and we're going to talk to the IV judge and see what he has to say about our Zodua. Talk to the judge. Have him check our Zodua. So this time he'll say that it still has relatively superior potential and a great attack stat, defense stat, and it simply can't be beat. So go ahead and remember that. And then we're going to fly to North Lumios and head to the Battle Institute. So go ahead and head to the Battle Institute, talk to this woman, head into a single battle test, and enter 3 Pokemon, including the one that we're going to be checking its IVs. So go ahead and enter my 3 Pokemon, including Zodua, and confirm. And then we'll go ahead and start this battle. Now, from here, we're going to do the same process. We're going to go to the Cetabi IV calculator, and from there we're going to go ahead and enter all of its stats. So we'll go to Pokemon, Zodua, check its summary, and then we will go to that website and go ahead and enter all the information. So it's going to be a Zodua, lonely natured. It's going to have a characteristic of capable of taking hits. Its hidden power was flying. Relatively superior. Great attack and defense stats. And can't be beat. And now at level 50, we'll go ahead and enter all of its stats. Then we'll go ahead and calculate its IVs. Okay, so now this time, HP is the stat that is randomized because neither my Zodorok nor my Ditto have a HP spread of 10 or 11. And it's going to be getting 31 attack stat from Zodorok, which is going to be its male. Then it's going to have 31 in defense from female, 2 from male, 28 and 28 both from male. So for this spread, HP is randomized and the male is giving attack, special defense, and speed, while the female is giving off defense. So if you're looking for, let's go ahead and say HP is the stat we're looking to be randomized, and we don't care what the stat is, but we do want attack, defense, special defense, and speed. This is the point where you would soft reset again and change the parents out. So we'll go ahead Take those two Pokemon out. Now this is the point where we just rejected the first egg and a second egg has not been generated. So you're going to go inside the daycare and take the two parents out. So take the Zoroark and the Ditto out. And now we're going to find two parents that meet our requirements for the IV spread. So we need a male that has attack, special defense, and speed, or at least as many of those that we want. So for Mamoswine, for this one, he's got attack, special attack, and speed. He does not have special defense and the HP is randomized. So we could take attack, defense, and speed from this one. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. We'll take this male, and now we need a female with a defense stat of 31, which we can use this one right here. So I'll go ahead and switch the items. And make sure one of them is holding the Destiny Knot to pass down the IVs. Now we'll go ahead and put our new parents in the daycare because the second egg that is generated will have the random HP IV and have the IV spread from the designated parents that we want and that we've now chosen our parents to accordingly. So go ahead and leave both of them in here. And I'll go ahead and fast forward until I've generated and hatched an egg. Okay guys, so we've generated and hatched our egg, and we know that this Swinub should have attack, special attack, and speed generated from the male, and defense generated from the female. So it should have a random HP stat, and it should not have a 31 stat, considering neither one of the parents had a 31 stat special defense. So from here we can fly to the Keylao judge and check it to make sure we did everything correctly. And he should tell us that our Swinub has perfect IVs, perfect stats in attack, defense, special attack, and speed, which would give us 4 IVs, and we could start the process over again and breed 2 more different parents to get a perfect Pokemon, which is when you're starting out and you have Pokemon that have 1 to 2 IVs, that's the best way to do this, and stack IVs to start getting Pokemon up to 3, 4, and 5 IV stats that have 31 in every stat. So we'll talk to the Keylao judge. Go ahead and choose our Swinub, and he should tell us that we have attack, defense, special attack, and speed. So relatively superior. Attack, defense, special attack, and speed. So as you can see, this method works, and using it you can predict the IV stats that are going to be passed down from which parents, and which stat will be randomized and which stats will get passed on. And you can abuse this method to get the exact IVs and the exact stats you want on the Pokemon that you really want them on. So have fun with this, guys. Abuse it and start getting all your Pokemon completely statted up. I will tell you this. Um, if you hatch an egg, let's check this one for instance before I go. I want a Swinub that is naive, has thick fat, and knows freeze dry and icicle sphere. This one is thick fat, naive, and it does know freeze dry and icicle sphere, or icicle crash I should say, since it is a physical attacker. Now, had this been a Snowcloak Mamoswine, the same way that the IVs are preset before the parents are even put into the daycare and before the egg is even made, the ability is also preset. So if you may end up getting the IV spread that you want, but if you hatch the egg and it does not have the ability that you want, it is always going to be like that. So in that instance, you're going to have to reject that egg and try again for the IV spread that you were looking for and the ability that you were looking for. It's a pain because the ability is set, so if you end up getting the wrong ability, you'll have to reject that egg and start over. But it's better to know now that the ability is set instead of trying to breed that egg over and over and over again, thinking that it will change. Now, I'm unsure whether or not gender is preset, but I do know for sure that the IV spread, once you check it and reset the game, and the ability are both preset. So if it does not have both of what you want, the IV spread and the ability, you're going to either have to accept it or reject it and try again and start over. But this has been my method for doing this the quickest and easiest way, and as you can see, we bred about 4 eggs and checked the IVs and got what we wanted in less than an hour. So I mean, each egg typically took about 15 to 20 minutes and entering all the information. So it's a lot quicker and easier on the PC box with a lot less eggs to breed and hatch. So have fun with it, guys, and do your best getting those perfect Pokemon. So see ya.